Hi, my name's Ava and today I'm going to be reading Being a Bee. So, let's start reading. Okay. Buzz, buzz, buzz. It's a sunny summer day and bees are busy flying from flower to flower. A bee is a kind of insect. It has 3 pairs of legs and 2 pairs of wings, which move so fast that they make buzzing noise. There are thousands of different kinds of bees, but the bees we are going to talk about in this book are honeybees. The honeybee's hairy body is covered in yellow and black stripes, warning other animals not to get too close. Female bees have a stinger at the end of their body and will use it to defend themselves and their family. Watch out, a bee sting can hurt. Meet the family. Honeybees live together in big families called colonies. The colony is home to the queen bee and as many as 50,000 worker bees. That's crazy. They build the nest, look after the young bees, and gather nectar and pollen from plants. All of the worker bees are female. There are also some male bees in the colony. They are called drones, and their job is to mate with the queens from other hives. Queen bee. The mother of all bees in the colony is a queen bee. She is about twice as big as a worker bee. The queen bee spends most of her life in the nest. Her worker daughters bring her food and groom her. In winter, they huddle around their queen to keep her warm. In summer, they fan their wings to keep her cool. A queen can live between 4 and 7 years, the longest of any bee. The worker bee will survive for only 45 days, while a drone can live twice as long. So a drone will live 90 days. The queen lays all the eggs for the colony. Sometimes she'll lay as many as 1,000 eggs in one day. Each one sits in its own little part of the nest called a cell. So you see all her little female workers all sitting on the eggs she lays. Inside the nest, wild honeybees make their nests in trees or between rocks, but many bees also nest in boxes called hives, which people build for them. Wooden frames filled with lots of 6-sided wax cells hang down from the top of the hive. There are eggs in some of these cells. Others hold young bees or stores of food. The bees make their wax from their bodies. A group of wax is called a comb. New bees. Bee eggs hatch into small, wriggly creatures called larvae. It takes 21 days for a larva to grow into an adult bee. At first, the growing bee is fed with royal jelly, a rich, sugary food by the worker bees in the nest. Later, it is fed pollen and honey from the colony food stores. A growing queen bee gets its special treatment. She is fed royal jelly the whole time she is growing up, which helps to prepare her for a life of laying eggs. First days. When a young bee is fully grown, she leaves the cell she has been living in. Her first job is to clean it, and the other cells too. It's important the cells are cleaned so they're ready for the next group of larvae, or to store food. When she is about 3 days old, the young bee begins to feed the new larvae. Then, in the second week of life, her job changes. she starts building and repairing the nest and making new wax cells. Working in the hive. When she is about 3 weeks old, the bee starts another job. She waits near the entrance of the hive, ready to take pollen and nectar from the other bees, flying home who have been collecting it. She also guards the entrance, checking that all the returning bees are from her family and are not looking to steal honey. So other bees from different colonies she doesn't let in. And she's got to make sure that they don't go in because they'll steal her honey. Guard bees can tell if bees are from other hives by their smell and then attack and chase them away. Flying out. When a bee is about 22 days old, she is an adult and ready to gather food. She does a few short flights to practice flying and to learn to find her way home. Then she flies out into the open air. Bees fly from the plant to plant, collecting nectar and pollen. Flower pollen is yellow dust, and the bee carries it in parts of her back legs, called pollen baskets. Nectar is a sweet liquid made by flowers. When the bee finds it, she sucks it up into an extra stomach called a honey sac. So, they have extra baskets on the back of her legs to carry pollen and nectar, which is pretty cool. And then she has an extra stomach to put it. She sucks up the nectar and puts it in her extra honey sac. So, dancing bees. When a worker bee finds a patch of flowers full of nectar and pollen, she tells the other bees how to find it. To do this, she does a dance. That's pretty cool, I didn't know that. First, the bee runs around in a circle. Then she cuts across the circle at an angle to show the other bees the direction they should fly in. To tell them how far away the flowers are, she wiggles her body. The more she wiggles and waggles, the farther the other bees know they have to go. So, flower to flower. Flowering plants need pollen from a flower of the same kind to help new plants grow. Bees can help flowers get pollen. When a bee lands on a flower, its body gets covered in pollen. When it visits the next flower, some of this pollen brushes off and pollinates the plant. So when they get the pollen, that's a good thing. So other insects as well as birds and bats pollinate flowers too. But bees are the most important pollinators. Without bees, many plants would not be able to produce seeds. Making honey. Bees use nectar to make honey, which they store in their hive until it's time to eat. A lot of work goes into making honey. So it's important for all the bees to work together. It takes about 10 million trips out from the nest to make enough honey to fill one jar. Lots of other animals, including people, like to eat honey too. And they collect it from the bees' nests. When people who keep bees do this, they always make sure they leave enough honey for the bees to eat. So the bees can eat the honey because it's like food. So, a new nest. Sometimes the bee colony gets too big. When this happens, the queen may leave the nest with all the older workers and drones in a big group called a swarm. Workers called scouts look for a place to make a new nest. When they have found one, their queen and the other bees join them. In the old nest, a new queen hatches. She matches with the drones from the other hives and starts to lay eggs to build up the colony again. I did not know that. So when they leave, that's because the colony's too big. So, beekeeping. We need bees to pollinate our plants, and we love the honey that they make. But bees don't need humans. While bees can build their own nests, we can, though, provide bees with cozy hive homes, and in return take some of their honey. During the summer months, bees make more honey than they need. When looking in the hive, a beekeeper must wear protective clothing and be very careful. Bees are not dangerous, but they will defend the hive. The beekeeper's job is to look after the bees and watch for any signs of disease while disturbing the hive as little as possible. Save the bees. Honeybees are in trouble. There's much less grassland and far fewer wildflower meadows than ever before, so it's harder for bees to gather the nectar and pollen they need. Bees are also harmed by the chemicals that farmers spray on their fields to kill other bugs. So when they go to the other flowers and farmers spray those flowers to keep the other bugs away, bees get it. You and your family can help by planting flowers in your garden and leaving wild spaces, or by planting seeds in areas of wasteland to make a bee-friendly spaces. Buy local honey to support the beekeepers in your area, and tell people how important bees are to all of us. Bees matter, and more people speak up for them, the more likely it is that they will be protected. So, we do have bees. One way to know, we have honeybees. I think they're like Russian honeybees or Italian honeybees. And we sold all our honey pretty fast. And last year was our first year and we did amazing. So when we get more, make sure to check that out. Check out our Facebook page, Warner Family Farm. And yeah. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.